Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's a fun video. Of course, you guys know what this video is because I've had a lot of you guys excited for it, as am I, as was I. I still am, I'm a little nervous, and in fact you're gonna see me kind of stumble a little bit during this video because of it. You guys intimidate me. So today is the long-awaited Thirsty palette breakdown. So I asked on Instagram. Yeah, I asked on Instagram if it'd be okay if I did 2 looks, and you guys voted 2 looks instead of kind of doing one video with everything, like the lipsticks and the eyeshadow palette, kind of like I did the Blood Sugar one, which I'll link down below. But if you guys like the way I did this type of video, then please, of course, show me the love down below. Leave me a comment, tell me, yeah, let's do more looks, and, you know, do it separately. But anyways, so here is the Thirsty palette, and the long-awaited reveal. So I've already used it, but I will insert a clip here where you can see it up close, unused, beautiful, perfect, and everything's up close. You can see all the names, all the shades, and this is what it looks like, the aftermath after I've used all the shades in looks. So the only shades I didn't get to use were Taste Buds, Kumquat, Snatched, and Subtle. So my overall first impression is, I hate it. Just kidding. I actually do love it. It's a really great palette. There was some issues with one of the shades. In fact, it was submerged. So as you can see here, that's this one. And I don't know if it was 100% the actual shade or if it was the look I was going for, the placement, because my eye was giving me a little bit of trouble. But I don't know. I had trouble with it, so let's just go there. But let's just go ahead and break down comparisons, do some swatches, and then after this, there will be the getting ready with me. So I will link down below the cool tone look and the warm tone. Of course, this on my eye is the warm tone look. I freaking love this look so much. But yeah, that's the basic intro. Let's get right to swatching. Okay, so of course, swatches aren't going to determine the quality of the shadows because I've seen mattes swatched and they're not always the best. But let's go ahead and swatch the top row really quick. So let's go into, this is Stroke, this is Kumquat, this is Bish, and this is Taste Buds. And we'll do there, oops, and there. I didn't pick up very much on that one. So those actually swatched better than I expected, especially Kumquat. Like, wow, that's hella pigmented. And then last is, of course, Parched. So blended in, you can barely see it on my skin tone. So the next row, we have Divine, Filthy Rich, Lick, Snatched, and Plunge. So they don't all feel the same. Like, if you can look at them up close, the one thing I will see is Lick looked a little bit hollow, like it was pressed a lot different than the others, but it's so freaking pigmented that I can't even complain. But these are similar to the foiled, which I had somebody ask. They asked if the formula was the same, and swatching them now, you can almost feel that they kind of are. So here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, here's 5. Like, these are insane. And this is under my lights right now. I can't get over how pretty these are. But if you look at them even closer, there's little reflex in them that are just insanely gorgeous, especially in Filthy Rich. It has like silver reflex. And then the bottom shade, which was Plunge, also has silver. And then, of course, so does Snatch. So Snatched, Filthy Rich, and Plunge all have like silver reflex in them, which is insanely like crazy and makes them really pretty. They do kind of have a gritty texture to them, which I kind of like. I think that's what made it like a lot more packed on, and it intensified it a lot. I did use Plunge here, which you can see a little bit. So these here are my Makeup Geek foiled shadows. So let me show you a couple of the shades in comparison. So this is, I think, Flamethrower, and I think this is like, I don't remember what it is. And then there's this shade here. So these are the foiled formulas, which as you can see are not the same. The Jeffree Star ones, as I mentioned, are a little bit grittier, which have a little bit more texture, whereas the foiled ones are creamier, which is kind of like Lick was. It's like, as you can see, Lick and Flamethrower are actually almost the same. So if you wanted to dupe, that would be a good one. I cannot get over Divine, which is the silver one. It's so friggin' pretty. But that is what they look like up close. The bottom 3 are foiled and the top ones are Jeffree's, which you can see has more texture and dimension to them over the foiled ones. Okay, so next I wanted to compare the new formula to kind of the older shades. So I'm going to take the Androgyny palette first, and I'm going to go into Frosting, and I'm going to go into Deja Vu, since those are the metallic shades from this palette, and I'm going to swatch them next to those. So that's the formula from before, and this is the new formula. Again, like I said, it adds so much more dimension with the little gritty ones that he threw in to the new shades. So look at, like, Frosting and Filthy Rich could almost be the same shade, but Filthy Rich has so much more dimension. It's actually prettier than Frosting. So next we're going to go into Rich Bitch from the Beauty Killer palette, and then we're going to swatch that one as well, side by side with them. That one has a little bit more of a rustier formula, like an actual eyeshadow. So that one has texture, but it's not as smooth as the new formula that Jeffree did in the Thirsty palette. So if you can see, once again, the Lick and Divine are similar to foils, whereas Rich Bitch is more of an eyeshadow. Like, you can definitely tell the difference in the formulas. And then last but not least is the Blood Sugar palette, which just came out. And when I first saw the Thirsty palette, I immediately wanted to swatch Lick next to Donor. So we're going to swatch that, and I'm going to actually throw in Sweetener as well. It's these 2 shades, that one there and the one in the back. And I wanted to see the formula compared to them. Okay, so I put Donor super close to Lick because I wanted to see if they were like similar in shade. And definitely Lick is a lot more gold, whereas Donor has a little more bronze brown to it. So not dupes like I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to the 3rd row to swatch. So the last row we have Subtle, Quench, Submerge, Splash, and Drizzle. And then we have Drizzle, Subtle, Submerge, or Quench, Submerge, and Drizzle. So see how these swatch? Submerge actually swatched pretty amazing, I mean, for a matte, and Quench didn't swatch as well as I thought it would have, and neither did Splash. But Splash on the lid, which you will see in my look, is incredible. So definitely do not take the swatches to heart because you're going to be disappointed. Of course, I explained to you a little bit later what I recommend as far as applying those specific shadows to your lids. So make sure you do fast forward, or you do watch at least the first tutorial, because the first tutorial is with the cool tones, which would be Submerge, Splash, and Quench. So don't forget to watch that. But overall, I was very impressed with the palette. Like, the shades are phenomenal, and if you are into, you know, basic looks with just a pop of color, then you're gonna love this palette, which is I think why I was drawn to it, because that top shade speaks to me in a basic B level, like on a basic B level, and then the middles are just insane, like absolutely insane. But if you cover this here, then that's a wearable palette. Like, that is what most people like strive for in a palette. Even if you cover these 2 shades, let's cover those 2 shades, that right there is a summer frickin' palette. So if you are intimidated by a palette by just these 2 shades, like seriously, just cover them. You don't even have to look at them. Because then you would see that this palette is insanely beautiful and insanely wearable, and is totally worth $48. So this is definitely a steal in my opinion, especially for a summer palette. As you can see, like, after I swatched it, it kind of smeared here, so it does get a little bit dirty. I'm of course not one to keep my palettes in pristine shape. I do dirty them up. I love that it has a full mirror, like an insanely big mirror. It's not like a thin one, it's actually wide. The palette is kind of a carton, so it's, you know, gonna get dirty, but it's easy to wipe off. The outside is cute as far as like the little dots go. Like, I actually really love the little dots. At first, when I saw the palette, I thought that's kind of a weird design, and then I realized it was like an orange sherbet ice cream, which made me love it so much because I love that ice cream. But yeah, it's cute. And then of course on the back, it's super plain. Like, it has the popsicle look again. still has the little textured dots, and then it says all the Jeffree Star information down here. It is vegan and it is cruelty free. So as far as the outer packaging, the unit carton, this is what it comes in. This is so freaking cute. Like, I almost love this more than I love this, but at the same time, it's I completely understand. Like, I'm gonna keep this unit carton because that's just what I do. I'm lame like that. On the back, it lists all the shades and its ingredients. So if you are curious, go ahead and screenshot that and take a look at it, everything that it has in it. But yeah, that's kind of the breakdown. That's kind of the comparisons. I did have a couple people send me messages on Instagram, and as far as the formula compared to blood sugar, I would say it's the same, but there are some shades that are different, and you'll see that when I apply them, which ones I had a little bit more trouble with versus the ones I didn't have trouble with. Like, blood sugar to me was insanely easy to blend, and I know somebody else mentioned that their blood sugar wasn't pigmented. I didn't have that experience. Mine was ridiculously pigmented. I know with the blood sugar palette, there were some shades that did not translate the same. They took some building. So if you would apply it on the lid, you of course got a lighter shade or a little bit different shade, like the reds appeared pinks on some people. These ones are a little bit more true to color. So once you put it on the lid, it's all a matter of how much you blend it out and diffuse it to keep that pigmentation and color, which is like most eyeshadows. And then I had somebody ask about the intensity of the metallics. So as you can see when I do my video, when you keep on watching, I didn't use Fix Plus on any of them. I did the look completely without them. There was one shot where I do show how much more it intensifies it with a wet brush, but I didn't do it for this second look. So this look right here, which is my second look, I did not use a single bit of Fix Plus, not even on the inner corner, not on the lid, not as a highlight. Actually, I did like set my face just to kind of give it a little bit more, you know, hold. And then I did have somebody mention about the colors being a little bit too intimidating and being a basic person. So again, like I said, you covered those two shades. You have the ideal perfect summer palette. So it's up to you if you can look past those two shades and kind of branch out a little bit and work those into your, you know, your color palette. You can do that. Like, honestly, it's worth it. And then I had another person ask if the yellow was streaky or pigmented. In my opinion, the yellow was phenomenal. You'll see that in both my looks. Like, I had zero trouble. That's why I did yellow on my nails. I had zero trouble with the yellow. Like, it was gorgeous. It laid down, it packed on, it blended out. It was just insanely good. So that is the one shade that blew my mind. I'm so content with it. I'm probably going to reach for this palette a lot, and I will probably create some looks with the blood sugar mix with this one, even maybe the Beauty Killer and Androgyny with this one. So if you want to see me combine some of those palettes, like one or the other, let me know down below and I will do that for you, of course. And yeah. So without further ado, I'm going to shut up so you can go ahead and watch the tutorials. The first one is a cool tone one, which is going to be almost a mermaid, like I mentioned, Finding Dory from Finding Nemo type of look. And then the second one is a little bit more warm tone, which is this one here. So if you want to see me do these looks, keep on watching and I'll see you at the end. Okay, so this is going to be look number one. Let me show you the palette up close while it's pure and it's a virgin and it has not been tainted with, dipped into, no finger swatches. Like, this is it in its perfect glory. I made sure to take as many like close-up photos as possible, but Lord knows it's never gonna look like this ever again. So that's from right to left, and I have an idea for look number one. So let's just dip right into it. So I'm pretty zoomed in right now. I'm a little bit intimidated, a little bit nervous for this video as usual, as I most of the time am when it comes to these new palettes. So I'm gonna dip into Parched. I'm gonna dip into Parched really quick, and I'm gonna coat the entire lid with it. And this is almost like my lid shade mixed with whatever you would call it. Like when I lay down concealer, this is kind of what my shade is. So I'm basically setting my lids so none of the oils in my lid kind of make them bleed or whatever you want to call them. I don't know the proper words. I'm not an MUA, you guys know this. Okay, so first shade I'm going to dip into is, of course, is going to be Quenched, which is this beautiful orange shade. I painted my nails specifically for this color right now, but I'm going to lay this down as my main shade on the lid, like up top. So it seems to be applying pretty well. I didn't pack it on the brush, but it still looks pretty damn pigmented, all things considered. I will build up eventually, but not like right this second, because I want to I want to play with some ideas at first. So that's 2 dips into the palette, and as you can see, holy shit, pardon my language, I'm going to go slightly up into the lid because I'm going to play with a lot more colors than usual. I'm going to play with about 4 colors on the lid, I think. We'll see. Okay, so the base shade is laid down. This is a Lexi 231 blending brush. Will it focus? Yeah. So this is a Lexi 231. That's what I use. And as you can see, I didn't blend it out extremely, like, I more packed it on because I want to see if it's going to blend in well with my next shade. So I didn't like the way my first look was coming out, like, at all. So I'm going to take a Luxie 229 brush, and I am still going to go into Submerge, which I was originally using in that first look, but the colors I was mixing it with, I didn't like the way they looked together, like, at all. And I should have gone with my gut instinct, and my gut instinct was like, Rosie, do this look first, and I didn't. I was like, let me try something different, and I hated it. So you can't put out half-assed work. If you want to go with something you love. So mixed with the yellow, it makes this like super pretty seafoam green. So I do want to mention there's a little bit of kickback. As you can see, I want to make sure to mention that before people go crazy and say that I'm lying. Full disclosure, there's kickback, which, surprise, surprise, on an eyeshadow palette. I'm going to build on top of that with the yellow. This yellow is like out of this world. It's so pretty. It looks a little patchy right here, but I don't know if that's like my eyeball or that's the eyeshadow. So that's what it looks like blended. I don't 100% love the way it looks right here for some reason, but right here it looks really pretty blended. So I don't know if that's just this area. This eye doesn't look bad. Like, I really like the way this eye blended out, where this one looks like crap right here. Okay, so the packing technique works way more than the blending one. And I'm wondering if it's because these are pigments versus like eyeshadows. So that's more of the color I wanted. Okay, okay. So lesson learned, pack it on, don't blend it in. There we go. Like, look at how that went on just perfectly fine. Okay, that makes so much more sense. I was getting a little bit like, uh-oh. So you can still blend it in, but pack it in and then blend. I'm trying not to get frustrated because this part of my eye is not taking any pigment. Do you see how it's kind of, you can almost only see yellow through it? And I don't think it's the blue because this part of my lid took the blue just fine. So we're going to see if I can salvage it with a liner and the rest of my look. So next I'm going to go ahead and just carve out the rest of it. As usual, you guys know me, I kind of like to get a little bit more glam with my look. So I'm going to take some Shape Tape from Tarte. So I'm going to carve out this lid part. I'm so mad at how pretty it looks right here and not right there. Do you see what I'm talking about now that it's kind of like carved out? So I'm taking Submerge on a pencil E30 from Sigma, and I'm just going to dab around the crease to build onto that. We're going for Dory vibes here. Just keep blending, just keep blending. Okay, so literally anytime I blend over this little area falls apart. I don't freaking get it. It's frustrating as hell. So this little part is bald AF. I do not get it. So we're going to take a Morphe M421 brush, and I'm going to go into Divine, which is this gorgeous, gorgeous shade here. And we're going to try it without any spray first. So that's beautiful. Oh my gosh. Do you see that? Let me try with my finger. Even better. Oh, holy crap. That is so freaking pretty. Actually, let me do this eye with only finger. So I'm going to dab most of it on my lid, and then I'm going to go over the rest of it with my brush. Do you see how pretty that is? Imagine if I wet my brush. I'm going to try and wet my brush just to see how much it intensifies it. So I'm going to take some Cover FX, spritz my brush, going back into it, and oh my gosh. That's it. This look is done. I'm going to throw it out there. This little spot right here is going to make me break down and cry. I'm going to throw on some liner to hopefully cover that little piece part, whatever you want to call it. Just to confirm that I'm having a bad makeup day. Look at these wings. I'm depressed. I give up. Okay, so I think I salvaged the wings a little bit. I'm going to go over the submerge one more time just to deepen it over. Pack that on so I can blend it. Oops. Fudge. Like, look how perfect that yellow is. It completely salvaged my little mistake right there. All I know is after this look, I'm going to come for Rich Lux's gig. So I'm taking Quench on a brush. This is like a deep blender, and I'm going to go under the lid. So I am going to take a little bit of Filthy Rich and put that on my inner corner here. Ooh, okay. That shit looks like Siberian gold. Siberian, I can't talk. It looks like Siberian gold in a freaking eyeshadow, and I love it because you guys know, you guys watched my last video, how much I love Siberian gold. Ooh. So this is the Sigma E05 eyeliner brush, which works fine for inner corner highlight. So I'm going to take a little bit of Splash, which is a completely different shade from Submerge, and I'm going to put that one on my bottom lid. This is way pretty. This is like almost teal or mint. Oh, that one's way prettier than Submerge. Oh, wow. I love that so much freaking more. I'm so mad right now. And the worst part of it is I don't know if it's like the shadow or my freaking lid, but I mean. So these are the Allure Light Lashes from House of Lashes that were just released on the 13th. So I'm going to go and pop these on and I will be right back. Okay, so this is look number one. I'm going to break it down for you really quick just to tell you kind of what shades I used, what I didn't like, what I did like. On the lip, I am using Fudge Pop. This shade is so friggin' pretty. Like, what? I might wear this like a lot more than I expected to. Woo. Spoiler alert for those who are going to watch my next video, which is going to be part 2. Okay, so in this look, I used Quench, which I really loved a lot, actually. So I just packed it on, like completely packed it on the lid because I knew I was going to blend it into a different shade. And once you blend it out, it does fade a little bit, so you do have to go over it to add the kind of the extra yellow, which is typical with most yellows because yellows tend to fade into the skin, which is I think why not very many people make yellow shades. But and then I use a Submerge, and I don't recommend blending the shade. Like, I do recommend blending it once you've reached the pigmentation you want, but once you get to the part where you need to kind of deepen the shade itself, you should really pack it on. So take either like a pencil brush or take the brush itself and pack it on as opposed to blending it on. So you can even use probably a flat brush, a synthetic brush versus kind of the ones I was using, but it did take a little bit of building, and I wasn't expecting that, so I think it's good to know that it is a shade that you would pack on versus blend on. And then, of course, I used Splash on the under eye. That one was a freaking dream. Like, I almost feel like I should have used that one instead of Submerged on the lid, but I do really like the way it ended up coming out. Like, after I sat with it, I had a breakdown, as you guys saw. I think I just was overthinking it too much, and it was definitely one of those days where I felt like I did not know how to do makeup, and that was getting in my head. So, especially because like these type of videos, I know that thousands of people watch this particular video, and I get a lot of hate as it is already. So that part right there really got in my head. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to have better luck with the second look, but I'm not into that one quite yet. And then I did use Divine all over the lid here. Let me scoot in a little bit. So I used Divine all over the lid here, and oh my gosh, this shade is a freaking dream. Like, I used it with just a regular, I don't know where the brush went, but I used just a regular flat shader brush, and it worked like a freaking dream. And then I did use Filthy Rich on the inner corner, and it looks so freaking good. Like, it's not too overwhelming, and it's not too like glittery. I kind of expected them all to be too glittery for something like that, but I think that looks fabulous. Like I can already tell Lick is going to be something that's really pretty in the inner corner as well. Kind of like, not Siberian Gold, Dark Horse and King Tut, because those are really pretty like bronzy shades. So I think that's going to be a lot like that. And then I did use Pack, which was almost like a gray bone shade. Like if you can see it there, it's so pretty. And this is a perfect like base shade. It's really just a base shade. You can probably line up shades with it if you wanted to, so you can almost see it through the yellow bit a little bit. And then I didn't use any other shade. So that was it for this look. We used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shades. The next look I'm going to do is going to be a little bit more focused on this side of the palette. So if you want to see me do look number 2, then go ahead and keep on watching, and I will see you. I'll see you then. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Just kidding. Hopefully you didn't leave. Okay, so I'm back for video number 2, and this time I'm going to focus a little bit more on the coral shades. Now that I know what to expect, honestly, like I had that minor breakdown, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm ready. I'm ready to attack this palette once more. So we're going to dip into the parched first, just to kind of flatten that eyelid. Okay, so I'm going to go into Stroke, which is this shade here. That's like a burnt copper, orange. I don't know. So I'm going to lay that down in my crease. Next, we're going to go into Bish. Really, it's Bish, but I like to say Bish. I call everyone Bish. It's like my favorite word to say. So we're going to blend that up. Ooh, these blend amazing. Maybe it was that shade, because if you watched the first part of my video, this little part wasn't picking up like shades. It could also be because this time I used foundation. I used my Tarte Shape Tape foundation to set my lids, and then I went over with the powder. So I don't know, or with parched. I don't know, honestly. But these are blending so super fine. Let me zoom in. God, that shade is stunning. Okay, I'll see you. Now let's go back into Quenched, and this is on an E237 brush. And then we're going to blend out Bish. There's like legit that many eyes in that word. Look how those are blending together. I'm going to go into Drizzle, which is the shade here. And I'm going to coat the lid. Taking a little more of Bish. And blending that out. I'm using a super light hand with this look. And it's probably for the better, because these are so pigmented. Okay, so I am going to go into Lick, which is that gorgeous shade. Let me use my finger really quick, like Bish. Whoo, and I'm gonna. That's pretty. So I did pack some on my brush, and I'm just going all over the lid. Okay, so next I'm gonna take Plunge, which is the shade here. It's another metallic. This is like a flat synthetic brush as well, and I'm going to pack it onto my corner and blend it into Lick. See how that's adding like metallic dimension, giving it a little bit more depth. So I'm taking the same brush I used on Stroke and going under the Ojo, kind of blending that up. I am going to intensify the yellow just a little bit more. Let it be known that I did not use any spray on Lick, and look how freaking pretty that is. Like, holy crap. I am going to dip into Filthy Rich for this look again and pop that in my inner corner, because like that's the perfect inner corner shade. Like this whole palette revolves around this being the inner corner shade, in my opinion. Okay, I want to zoom in just so you can kind of see the fallout a little bit. It's nothing too crazy, and as you can see, I'm layering on shades and going back and going forward, and so it's not too bad as far as fallout goes. I'm actually pretty damn impressed. It looks so pretty. Like, I'm gonna take a little bit of yellow and mix that with Submerge, whatever. What shade is that? Stroke. I'm gonna mix that with Stroke. That yellow is so pigmented that it actually took over the freaking shade. So I'm gonna go back over it with Stroke. So I'm going to pop on some falsies. These are the Opulent Noirs from House of Lashes. So I'm going to put these on and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm going to try something different for highlighter. I'm going to dip into the Thirsty palette, which is what's on my ojos. And I'm going to take Rich Bitch. And this is an eyeshadow brush. This is M441. And I'm going to use this as a highlighter. What? Do you see how pretty that is? Oh my god, Jeffree. You need to make this into a highlighter. That is so freaking pretty. Okay, I'm obsessed. Yep. Take a beauty blender and dab it out. Can you hear how loud my chair is? Like, has my chair been loud this entire video? Okay, and to complete the look, I'm going to go in with another new shade, and this is Yummy. Oh my god, like this is such a freaking beautiful shade. I know it's going to be one of my favorites already, and let's just... I love orange lipstick so much. Okay, so now that the look is done, I'm going to go change and be right back because we're going to talk palette next. Okay, so this is the second look, which is probably going to be my intro. So it's probably like the second time you're seeing it. Okay, but let's break it down. I actually had a lot more fun and ease. And I mean, this look took me like 15 minutes to do versus the other one that like I was just, like I said, I had a minor breakdown. Okay, so now let's break down the look. In this look, I use Quench, Drizzle, Lick, Plunge, Plunge, Stroke, and Bish, and Parch. I didn't get to use Taste Buds or Kumquat or the Snatched, I think that is. Yeah, Snatched or this shade. So there's 4 shades in the palette that I have not been able to use, but I will use that over the next week or so. I think I'm going to do a couple more videos, so if you guys want to watch those, don't forget to subscribe. So they're 2, I think, very different looks. Like one's a little bit more Finding Dory type, Finding Nemo, Finding Dory type look, whereas this one's a little bit more sunsetty, a little bit more basic, a little bit more everyday, a little bit more like warm tone. You know, people are more than likely going to gravitate towards this. Like I'm probably pretty sure that most of the reviews you guys do see will be featuring these shades, maybe even this exact look. I don't know. I really don't know. But this is the one I came up with, so I'm sure it's like a wearable look. You've probably seen it before, but this is created with the Jeffree Star palette, and I'm actually really impressed with the way they blended. And as you can see, let me scoot in. So now you're my personal zone. So as you can see, it blended so freaking well and so seamlessly. Like I didn't have any trouble. And the foils / metallic, whatever formulas, blended well together as well. Well, that was a lot of wells. And then the inner corner, under the eye, like all of it just came together so perfectly. Like I have no complaints. So that's the breakdown for this particular look. Combined, I would have to say the shade that I didn't like the most was actually Submerged. And I don't know what it was about it. I don't know if it's the actual shade or if it was, like I said, my eye, but it didn't do that on this look. So I'm just assuming that it was more the shade than it wasn't, but I'm going to play with it some more this week. Overall, I would have to say the rest of the palette is fantastic. I just had a little bit of trouble with Submerged. So if you are gravitating towards that particular shade, it is going to be a little bit tricky to work with. So like I said, make sure you're packing it on as opposed to blending it on, because when you pack it on, it's when the pigment's going to stick, whereas if you are blending it on, it's going to fade a lot quicker. Your eye, maybe it's just my eye, but is not going to pick it up as well as it should. Whereas the other ones, I mean, I blended, I packed, and they just came out so beautiful. Even, let me do this. Even Splash, which is this shade here, was amazing blended out. Like in my first look, when I blended it out, I was so impressed. Like I was blown away. It was almost what I should have used on the lid, like I mentioned, but I didn't, and it's okay. It's a learning experience. And like I said, it could just be that it was like a really weird like moment. Like I said, I was in my head a lot, so I'm not gonna make excuses for the palette, but I'm also not going to not put it on me being in my head as well. So does that make sense? So kind of just so you know. So just so you know, there's a chance that it might give you the trouble that I gave me, but I won't know until I play with it a little bit more. So I'm going to do a little more videos, maybe 1 or 2 sometime down the week, and of course along the line. So keep an eye on my Instagram, my YouTube, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you're new here, my name is RLQ.Rosie on Instagram. You can find me there. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. I will link everything down below, of course, so you can follow me. And don't forget, my next video is going to be the swatch videos, which is comparing all 8 shades with all of the shades that are comparable to it. So make sure you come back for that one. If you don't like this video, please just walk away, pretend it did not happen. Like I mentioned in the old video, of course, there's going to be those of you who will come here just to dislike the video, just because it's Jeffree Star. So please get it done and go on your way. And I will see the rest of you in the next video. Bye.